Okay, we are in the middle of chapter 3.
Reward.
Yeah, no, we just let's remind what we saw. We saw that Yoav decided to join with David, and he made an agreement with David that he will bring the people of Israel to support him and to leave Ishbosheth, the son of Shaul, that won't be the king anymore, that everybody will be behind David. So that was, it started with a conflict with Ishbosheth, was accused taking the concubine of Shaul. We explained several times that the relationship with women were also many times political issues, and being with the ex-wife of the king or the wife of the ex-king, or how do you want, of the past king, it can show aspiration for kingdom. So he was accusing Abner. Abner was insulted, offended, and decided to change sides. We saw that Abner himself recognized that actually Hashem chose David, God chose David, and that maybe this is the time to fulfill the prophecy that David will be the king. So he made this pact with David. David demanded the daughter of Shaul, that was his wife before. We spoke about the halachic aspects of this, and also again the political issue of being married with the daughter of the king. So she returned to him, and then after that, in verse 17, I'm just reminding what we saw last time. Abner made his part in the deal. He went, he spoke with the elders of Israel and convinced them to support David. After that, he went to the hardcore of the supporters of Shaul, which are the tribe of Benjamin. And he also succeeded in that. He was also from Benjamin himself. He was a family of Shaul. So everybody in Israel, and specifically in the house of Benjamin, everybody agreed that this is the time to accept David as their king. Okay, this is verse 19. And then there is this meeting. Abner arrived to David with 20 people. So when you're arriving with 20 people, it's also, you're showing strength, right? Power. You're not coming alone. You're coming with the people that support you. Maybe also some kind of bodyguards or something like that will protect him. So he's coming at David from a position of power, not from the position of I'm begging you to forgive me or something like that. And David accepted. This may be one of the reasons. We will mention 3 reasons why Yoav ben Zeruiah didn't like the idea, but one of them may be that he's going to take his place. Abner had the same rule of Yoav, right? There were enemies or the two sides, but they had the same job. They were what we call today the chief of the army. How do you call that? Chief of defense, right? Or attack. Commander-in-chief. Commander-in-chief. And in both cases, Abner and Yoav, sometimes their power was even more than the king. We saw for sure Abner was the one with the power in the house of Shaul. He was Ishbosheth was only his puppet king. And Yoav, we're going to see now that in some aspect he was stronger than David. He had more power than David. But anyway, Abner has the same rule as Yoav. If David is making pact with Abner, what is the price? Abner is bringing Am Israel. How does David pay to Abner? It doesn't mention here, but it's logical to assume that Abner also had his part in the deal. And the part in the deal was that I will be the strong man in the kingdom. I will be the commander-in-chief of the army of David, meaning in the place of Yoav. Taking the place of Yoav, it's not a very good idea, as some other people also learned during the way that we are going to see later. There was another story very similar when David wanted to name someone else as a chief in command, and Yoav killed also him. Amsa ben Yeter. You're going to see that later in that book. But we can say that this is, I'm just saying that this verse that say when Abner came to David in number 20, when Abner came to David in Hebron accompanied by 20 men, David made a feast for Abner and the men with him. So this feast and this caravan, how do you say, people that came together, 20 people, may be like the alternative of the military power of the kingdom of David. So Abner said to David, now I will go and rally all Israel to your majesties. They will make a pact with you, and you can reign over all that your heart desires. And David dismissed Abner, who went away unharmed. Right. So we talked about that 3 verses ends with the word shalom. B'shalom, vayelech b'shalom, vayelech b'shalom. And then Yoav arrived, and he doesn't like the idea. He is very angry. What is the formal argument of Yoav? The formal argument of Yoav that this is a fraud. Abner is playing with him. Okay, that's what he says here in number 24. Yoav went to the king and said, what have you done? Here Abner came to you. Why did you let him go? Now he has gotten away. Don't you know that Abner, son of Ner, came only to deceive you, to learn your coming and goings, and to find out all that you are planning? So it's just saying, maybe what supports this argument that Yoav can go and return without a problem from the other king. If you are going to make a pact with the other king, you don't go like that publicly and everybody see you and return to the other king like nothing happened. Right? The fact that he can go back, meaning that it's maybe was planned together with Ishbosheth. So anyway, we can say that this is the second reason. The most legitimate reason to Yoav to suspect Abner or to come to act against Abner. The first reason we said maybe personal, he will take his place. The second reason, maybe it's only he's only lying to David. It's only a fraud. And the third, we're going to see later, of course, is his brother Asael. Now, what David answered to Yoav? Nothing. Does he tell him you shouldn't do anything? No, he doesn't say anything. Could he suspect that Yoav will do something? Maybe. He knows Yoav for many years. He knows that this person is very impulsive, energetic, doing things. David here doing nothing. Maybe, again, maybe it was innocence, right? He just didn't think that he's going to do something. But anyway, this silence of David, we should return to it later. I think we saw the story, but we didn't explain more details from here on. So we see now this part of the chapter. So Yoav left David and sent messengers after Abner, and they brought him back from the cistern of Sirah. Cistern, a well. Right, Bor Asira. Why does it matter where he was? Just the sentence says, but David knew nothing about it. Like you said before, David didn't say anything, but it also knew nothing. So the Tanakh himself testified, because it's going to be a question later. The fact that Yoav killed Abner in Hebron may be seen to many people that it was done by David. It came to David. David is the ruler of the place, and it's happened under his watch, meaning maybe in his directions, right, or instructions. But what does it mean? Return to this verse, cistern of Sirah. So it's just maybe a place, but Chachamim, the sages, said that this was also the reason that that Abner was killed. That there is the Tanakh hinting for the sin of Abner. What was the sin of Abner? The biggest sin of Abner is supporting Shaul and his house against David, even though he knew that David is the right person to be the king. So maybe for personal reasons, for family reasons, for other reasons, he is not supporting what would be expected from him, which is for the benefit of Am Israel. The people that are in power should always think about the benefit of what is the best for the nation, not for themselves, not for their interest as a personal interest or the family interest or the party interest. And this is a hard test when you have to choose between, if you're talking about modern politics, about your own the benefit of your party or the benefit of the state, of the country. What would you choose? Many times there is wrong answers here, right? Even though you know that it's not the right policy for the state, but it's benefiting you, many times, many people wouldn't pass this test successfully. And so also Yoav maybe didn't pass this test. And Chachamim said specifically, he prevented Shaul, he at least supported that Shaul wouldn't accept David back. These two words alluding for two things that happened, if you remember the stories that we saw when Shaul were chasing David. David had two opportunities to kill Shaul. One of them when Shaul entered to the cave and David cut his coat. So you remember he went into the cave, David was there, he cut his coat. And the second was when everybody slept and David entered to the camp of Shaul and took the water, right? So Chachamim said there are two, this is alluding for two these cases, both cistern of water. So David took the plate of water. It was like some kind of utensil of water. He took the plate of water of David, of Shaul, and then after that from far away he says, "Where is your plate?" So Chachamim say that Abner told Shaul, he surely didn't come, he didn't have opportunity to kill you. So David wanted to show Shaul, I don't want to kill you. I had opportunity to kill you and I didn't do that. So you should stop chasing me. But Abner told him, no, for sure he didn't come inside here. He found it. Someone forgot it in somewhere and he found. So this is the bow, the cistern. The sirah in Samech, well, it's also, sirah it's boat in Hebrew, but also sirah it's coat, thorn. So he told him about the coat. How does he have the edge of your coat? Because it was torn by some kind of a thorn. How do you say? It caught.
It's ripped by
A thorn, right? Thorn. Yeah, when you have a plant with a edge thorn, right? So this is sirah. Sirah kotzanit. There is also a name of a specific plant in Hebrew. It's sirah kotzanit that has a lot of thorn. So Bora Sirah alluding to the fact that Abner was convincing Shaul that David is against him, that David is not in his side. Okay, so this is like the hidden reason for all that happened to Yoav. Now, when Abner returned to Hebron, so we say that Yoav called Abner to return. When Abner returned to Hebron, Yoav took him aside within the gate. Here also, Sha'ar in the Torah many times is the place of the court. B'sha'ar iro, right? The elders are sitting in the sha'ar, in the gate. The gate was the place of the justice, so of the court. And Chachamim said also here that he was accusing Yoav in killing Asael. And he told him, why did you kill him? And Abner answered him, he was a rodef. What is a rodef? Rodef, someone that threat to kill you. You are allowed to kill him back before he kills you. If someone is chasing you with a gun, you don't have to take him to court. You can defend yourself by killing him, right? So Abner answered him, he was after me to kill me. But the halacha says that if you don't have any option, you can kill him. But if you have an option to prevent him from killing you by hurting him but not killing him, that's what you should do. And so Abner told him, Yoav told him, you should have killed him. You shouldn't have killed him. You should have hurt him. You should stop him. You should have stopped him, even hurting him but not killing him. And how do we know that he could have done it? Because we said that Abner, in the backside of his spear, could hit the exact point that will kill him immediately. He was very, very good soldier. So Yoav told him, I know you. I know you had options. I know you could do that in other way. You are good enough in the spear, with a spear so this was a discussion. So we can say there is like a halachic argument of why you have killed him. So you have some kind of justification for what he did. This is el meaning court. It can be also just he wanted to take him aside from the 20 people. I mean, if you're going according to the literal meaning, not according to the midrashim, the dvash, he just wanted to take him to the side in order to use, to kill him in a more in a way that he could do that, right? So it took him aside within the gate to talk to him privately. So the word privately here is one option. It says what it says Yun? Uncertain. Yeah. So the other mefarshim says Shelley is like looking innocent, right? Like I'm not doing anything. So there he struck him in the belly, Chomesh, the same place that Asael was hit. Those Abner died for shedding the blood of Asael, Yoav's brother. So this is the third reason. We said three options, or because he wanted to take his place, or because he was afraid that he's trying to do something against David, or that because he killed Asael. All these reasons are good enough. About taking his place, of course, it's not a good reason. If the king wants other person in your rule, you just should. You cannot apply to the court in these times. There's no against firing you. No, if the king wants someone else, it's his right to decide how to manage the country. If what about suspecting that Abner is trying to do something? I think that this makes sense, but there are other means that are not so extreme as killing him immediately. Right? You could have done something, protect better, start to maybe send in your spies, trying to find solutions. It's not justifying killing someone that could have bring peace to the country. We have a civil war right now, people of David against people of Shaul. There is an option to go out from it. You're suspecting, that's okay. It's just your job to suspect, but the solution is not killing him immediately without any kind of investigation. So this is not. About killing Asael, halachically, it may be justified. There is a discussion about that. There's no clear answer about that. There is a term that's called what we call nikmat dam, revenge of blood. Blood revenge, how do you call that? When you are killing someone that kills someone from your family. Feud. Yeah. Feud. So there is a halachic term of feud. And Yoav apparently had the right to revenge the blood of his brother, if he was killed unjustifiably, But we will see that at least according to the Bible, it's not the case. We're going to see that later. So David, after he killed him, so first of all, from all the reasons, it says, the Tanakh says quite clearly, the real reason was revenge for his brother. Vayamot bedam Asael achiv. He died for shedding the blood of Asael, Yoav's brother. So for all the other reasons we can say, this is the real reason from behind all these stories. So now David is in a very problematic place. From one side, Abner was killed in his territory, from his men, and from the other side, Abner was bringing all of Israel. What's going to happen with what Abner brought to David? He brought all the people of Israel to support David, and now he was killed. David, like we said before, is trying from the beginning to unite the kingdom, but peacefully, as much as it's possible. Not in the ways of the sons of Zeruiah, in the peaceful way. He let them do what they want, and maybe this is one of his mistakes, but it is other way. And now they are putting him in a place when everybody would suspect that David was the one ordering killing Abner. So that way, David is now here. We can say is declaring very clearly, I wasn't proud of it for two reasons. First of all, because it was truth, and second, to protect himself. So afterward, when David heard of it, he said, boss, I and my kingdom are forever innocent before God of shedding the blood of Abner, son of Ner. Is it true? Yes and no. It's true because David didn't want that, didn't plan that, didn't do that. It's not true in the meaning that there were people of David, and he didn't do enough to prevent it. And also after that, he didn't punish them. We're going to see that later. So say, may the guilt fall upon the head of Yoav and all his father's house. May the house of Yoav never be without someone suffering from a discharge or an eruption or a male who handles the spindle. I don't know exactly this way. Yeah. Or one slain by the sword or one lacking bread. So a lot of cursing here. And did it happen? Chachamim said, the sages said that it happened to David himself. And Chachamim learned from here that if you are cursing someone in unjustified way, it may come against you. So all that's happened to the sons of David. During the Bible, there are stories about some of his sons, each one of them Metzorah, Nofel Bacherev, Chasar Lechem. Everybody, each one of these curses happened to the sons of David. Why? Apparently, like we said before, maybe he didn't do enough to prevent Yoav from doing what he wants, and we're going to see why after that, how David justified that, but maybe also because what are the sons of Yoav? Why is the sons of Yoav guilt? I mean, what the sons of Yoav did to you? He said, not you, from your generation, from your descendants. Radak, for example, says, that, according to Chachamim, that David is going to kill Yoav. It's a spoiler. In the beginning of Sefer Melachim, he's going to order Shlomo, his son, you must make sure that Yoav won't die naturally. You must make sure to revenge the blood of Abner and the blood of Amsa ben Yeter, the story that we're going to see later. So David is going to punish Yoav in some moment, not now, but later down the road. So if you are punishing him, why are you cursing his children, his descendants? So that was an unjustified cursing, and David suffered for himself for doing that. But I think both things. We're going to see David is considered one of the greatest people of our history, but he also was punished more than once in a very, very severe way. The most famous story, maybe, it's of course the case of Bathsheba, and David was punished very severely for Bathsheba. And also here, even though maybe his mistake wasn't as big, but there is a reaction, according to the sages, right? That David is paying for his mistakes in his own family.
What was the punishment for?
For what? He lost 4 children in an unnatural way. What's happened here? Oh, I don't know what I'd say. So, oh, that's yeah. I have to close here. Maybe later. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Now here, this verse also is important in understanding how the Bible judge the action of Yoav. So say now Yoav and his brother Avishai had killed Abner because he has killed their brother Asael. Again, this is a good reason. During the battle of Ad Givon b'milchama. Why is it important to mention Givon milchama? We know we know the story. It's happened in the former chapter, one chapter ago. We still remember what's happened, right? So why it's mentioned that? So some explanation says, in the case of killing someone in a war, you are not. It doesn't have the rules of how do you call that, feud, blood revenge. The revenge can be when he killed him for other reasons. But part of the war, it's not personal. It's not killing him. Even though for Asael side it was personal, he wanted Abner specifically. But it's a war. You cannot, after the war is over, like here, you cannot start, okay, in this battle you killed my cousin, now I will kill you. It's not going like that. It's a war. It's not personal. It's right. It's nation against nation or tribe against tribe or something like that. So you cannot start calculating who killed who in the war, in the battle. That's what the Tanakh said. It was in a milchama. It was in a war. So this war that you can revenge for that cannot apply. So David now must convince everybody that he's not part of it. And he's doing a lot of very public actions. David then ordered Yoav and all the troops, Yoav himself, and all the troops with him to rend the clothes geared on sackcloth, right? So it's like a cloth of mourning, and make lament before Abner. And King David himself walked behind the bier. The bier? Yeah, and so they buried Abner at Hebron, not in his place. His place belongs to Binyamin, the other side of Jerusalem, the north. But he was buried in Hebron. The king wept aloud by Abner's grave, and all the troops wept. Wept aloud. He must show, maybe because we really feel for him, but also because he must show to everybody that he's not part of it. And the king intoned the dirge over Abner. There are three famous dirge eulogies of David. One we already saw about Shaul and Jonathan. Very personal, very emotional. The other we're going to see in the end of the book on his son Absalom. Also very, very, very emotional. Here it's a little bit, I would say, technical. It's not so emotional as the others. So they say, should Abner have died the death of Shaul? Your hands were not bound, your feet were not put in fetters, but you fell as one falls before treacherous men. Treacherous men. What does it mean here exactly? Meaning you didn't deserve to die as someone that is condemned to death. Your hands weren't bound. So meaning the action wasn't justified. You didn't die for a good reason. You didn't die like a naval, like a criminal that is executed for his sins. Right. So this is basically what it says, that it wasn't justified, and that bad people did it to you. Who are these bad people? His nephews, right? The sons of Zeruiah. Zeruiah was a sister of David, so it was them, and he obligated them to weep, to cry for him. And it succeeded. The people joined David, and all the troops continued to weep over him. All the troops came to urge David to eat something while it was still day. But David swore, may God do those to me and more if I eat bread or anything else before sundown. May God do those to me. It's a way of swearing, making an oath. I'm not going to touch food until the end of the day. It's interesting to compare that to later case when, after the story of Bathsheba, so Bathsheba was pregnant and the child died in the day he was born, and it says that he was sick, and David was praying for him all day long, and then the child died. And then the people were afraid that what's he going to do now? He was praying and crying when he was sick. What is he going to do now? And once they told him that he died, so he get up and ate and wash, and so returned to life. So they asked him, what are you doing? And he said, when he was sick, I was trying to save him by praying, etc. Now that he's dead, what can I do more? So David, in this case, he said, after the death, it's better to return to life. Here is like, after the death, he's doing more. But again, here it was part of it, it was part of the show. We must show and convince everybody I wasn't part of it. It wasn't me. So he's doing everything very publicly. He's fasting and he's mourning and he's saying eulogy and laments in order to show everybody. I'm not saying that it wasn't honest. And he was also honest. He was sorry about him. I don't think like as much as he was sorry for Jonathan, or as much as he was sorry for his son, Avshalom, and the baby, the one that was dying without a name, right? So he maybe feels sorry, but all these actions also were part of showing everybody that is not part of it. And they succeeded in that, like the verse says, all the troops took. It's translated here as troops. Troops meaning soldiers, no?
Yeah.
It doesn't say soldier, it says all the people.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know why
It's interpretation, it's not translation.
yeah, and also before when he said the troops, and David ordered Yoav and all the troops. No, it says Yoav el kol ha'am.
Nation.
But it said Ha'am asher ito. Here, the people that were with Yoav, so we can say maybe there was the soldiers. But here, it's not necessarily the people of Yoav. The opposite. It's a kol ha'am. All the troops took note of it and approved, just as all the troops approved everything else the king did. No, it's not just it's not that everything that the king did was good generally. It's saying that in this case, that all the things that the king did in order to lament Abner, to mourn for Abner, was good in the eyes of the people. The people accepted it. So that day, all the troops, all the nation, or all the people, and all Israel. So maybe this is the source of this translation. What does it mean? Kol ha'am ve'kol Israel. The Am Israel is not the Am. I mean, Israel is not the Am. I understood that as Kol ha'am meaning the people of Hebron, the people of Yehuda that were around there in David. Kol Israel, the rest of Am Israel. Those who Avner wanted to bring to David. So anyway, it succeeded, and the people were convinced that all the people and all Israel knew that it was not by the king's will that Abner, son of Abner, was killed. So the question is, okay, so they killed him against your will. What you are doing now? What is the punishment for killing someone in Judaism? Death. So even though it depends in many things, it depends if you have witnesses and warning and other stuff like that, and Yoav did that in privately. So maybe in the regular law, it wasn't allowed to kill Abner for what he did. But we have what it's called Mishpat HaMelech. Mishpat HaMelech is alternative set of rules that basically say that the king has extra powers, spatial powers. It's like when, for example, the president has special powers in the time of a war or something like that. So in Judaism, there is the regular set of rules, and there is what we call Mishpat HaMelech, the rule of the king. And the king can do many things against the law. He can even kill people, execute people. He can take property. He can do many things. And the question here is why David is not using his powers against Yoav. And that's what that was the last verse says. And the king said to his soldiers, to his servants, Avadav, you well know that a prince, a great man in Israel, has fallen this day. So David recognizing the greatness of Abner. We said also, Hamim said that he was a great person. And today I am weak, even though anointed king. So he is admitting he is weak. Weak in what sense? Let's see. Those involved, the sons of Zeruiah, are too savage for me. Kashim, hard. They are stronger than me. May God requite the wicked for the wickedness. So he said, basically, I should have done something to them. I cannot. I cannot exercise a regular rule because I cannot, based on the regular rule, they say it was a nikmat dam. It was because of our brother. But why can't you exercise the power of the king? Because I'm a weak king. In what meaning? You can understand two ways. One, you have as the support of the army. The army is going behind you up. And something that we're going to see even later also. Right? People are going after Yoav. So if David tried to do something to Yoav, maybe Yoav can do something back to him. We can see that, again, we are doing a lot of spoilers today. There is the story that you know that Avshalom, the son of David, went against him, and he took the kingdom. David had to run away, and there was a battle between David and Avshalom, meaning David sent Yoav and Avshalom, and in that battle Avshalom fell. We're going to see all of this story. David took it very hard. Even though Avshalom was against David, David was very, very sad, and he didn't want to go out from the room. The people that returned victorious from the war were ashamed and feel shy. And there is a sentence when Yoav going to David and tell him, if you're not going out to the people now and speak with them and encourage them, I make sure that until the morning, nobody is going to be with you. You're not going to be left with one soldier. So he threatens the king. But there is base to this. I mean, he knows that he has the power. And he's doing that also for what he believes is good for David. Yoav was very loyal, even though all what we are saying here, Yoav was very loyal. He always thought about what is better for the king, but according to his opinion. He didn't obey David. He did things that he decided that are good for David, even though it's against the will of David. But we can see from this story of Avshalom that Yoav has the power of the people behind it. David say, if I'm trying to punish Yoav, he may win. He has more power than me. This is one explanation, and I think that the other one is also very valid. It says that, let's say he can punish Yoav, but David needs Yoav. It's not only that he doesn't not sure that he can punish him. He said, if let's say I can, I need him. I'm weak right now, and the strength of my army, of my power, of my military power comes from Yoav. And Yoav was very talented and very dedicated and very good chief in command. And David needed him and Avishai to lead his army. So for these two reasons, I cannot do anything to them. And then we return to what we said before. So you need them, you cannot kill them, so why are you cursing them? They made a mistake. You can have two choices, or to react to that, or not to react. But you cannot say, I'm not reacting, but I'm cursing you. Right? It's some kind of not doing the right thing from both sides, right? So that's the reason we think also that it was a mistake of David. Just so to summarize, we start seeing here the long relationship between David and Yoav. That's going to be in all the next chapters. Yoav is a very, very main character in the story. And this is unhealthy relationship in some way. David is a king, but Yoav has too much power. Yoav has too much power. Sometimes he's impulsive, sometimes he's hard, sometimes he's acting cruelly, in independent way. He's not accepting totally the government of David. But from the other side, like I said, he's very, very loyal and will do everything for David. He will risk his life. He will fight for him. He will do everything that he thinks that is good for David. So this is, on one side, important relationship, but in some aspect, unhealthy relationship. Yeah, that's it.